You know, the holidays are the time for giving and spending. Staying on top of your finances is important during the holidays as it is any other time of the year, but it doesn't mean you have to be a Scrooge. Personal finance guru Andrea Woroch has teamed up with Chase Bank. She joins us now with some smart spending tips here. Good timing on this because this is when everyone's bringing out the old credit card, Andrea.
Yes, good morning. Thanks so much for having me on. I'm ready to dig into my tips.
All right, yeah, give some information to us here because I feel like our viewers are real smart. I feel like a lot of them are budget conscientious people, you know, even this time of year. It can be tough though. This is the time of year where, you know, some spending can get out of control, right?
Exactly. And even for people who are really budget conscious, it's easy to go overboard. There's so many temptations. And what you have to start with is having that budget. But it's not just a budget for the gifts you're planning to buy. You have to think beyond those presents. Think about the smaller expenses you take on this time of year. Are you creating customized greeting cards and planning to send those out? Postage can get expensive. What about hosting a holiday party? All those groceries are going to get expensive for those parties. Maybe you're planning to buy a new party outfit. All these little expenses have to be added into your overall spending plan because then you may have to tweak who you buy gifts for or how much you spend per person. And that's really the best way to control your spending.
Absolutely. I mean, we're looking at gifts right now, but we're also looking at maybe taking like a family, you know, trip to the mountains or something like that. And boy, you start looking at those costs and you got to really factor in those family experiences if you're planning on doing that in the budget for the holidays, right?
Yes, exactly. And that kind of brings me to my next tip, which is talking about tracking your spending. So
Okay.
now that you know how much you're planning to spend on these different expenses, gifts, experiences, like you mentioned, a great way to stay on top of your spending is right in your phone. Using a mobile banking app allows you to, see exactly where your money is going at any given time. I check my mobile banking app every day. It kind of just keeps me in check and holds me accountable to each and every dollar I spend. And then I know when I need to cut back. And a great example, the Chase mobile app, it allows you to track your spending. You can pay bills, send money to family and friends with Zelle. You can even check your credit score for free with Credit Journey. And what's cool about that is that's available to anyone. You don't have to have a Chase account for that. And they even offer alternative payment options for those bigger ticket purchases with my Chase plan, which allows you to pay over time in fixed equal monthly payments. And there's no interest, no credit, just fixed monthly fee. So that's really helpful for a lot of people.
The graphic we just put up said avoid common holiday spending mistakes. What are some of those that you've seen over the years?
Well, I think one of the biggest ones is not budgeting for those smaller seasonal expenses that I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
So look over your statements for last November and December. This is a great place to figure out what your budget baseline is. Look to see how much you spent on different categories. And if you took on debt, well, then you know you have to scale back this year.
Boy, that's a good idea.
And another big mistake, another big mistake I wanted to quickly mention is buying a lot of stuff on impulse. There's so many deals out there.
Yeah.
It's easy to buy things you don't need. So it's really important to take a step back and reevaluate everything. Don't buy something just because it's on sale. That's my biggest tip.
Yeah, we're doing probably a lot more electronics buying. Our family is now because the kids are getting older and everything. And boy, that's when things can really start to add up, right? So what is the first step? People are watching this right now and they're going, okay, what's the first thing I do? Do I need to have a conversation with my significant other? Do I need to download an app? Do I need to just sit down with a pen and paper and figure out what I need to spend this year? What's the first thing people should do here?
Yeah, of course. Sit down with your partner, go through your bills, figure out how much you can afford to spend without digging yourself into debt. And if you already are in debt, then you need to really think about what's more important this year. Is it giving big, expensive gifts? Or could you do something else, maybe that doesn't cost a lot of money, maybe planning some more outings and spending time with your loved ones. Maybe it's cutting back on your gift list. Maybe you're not giving as many gifts this year. Maybe you could bake cookies for your neighbors and some of your extended family instead of buying presents. There's so many ways to tweak your spending plan to avoid stressing yourself out. And then shop the sales, look for coupons, compare prices. And you're talking about electronics, look at refurbished options. That's
Yeah,
a great
good
way
idea.
to get those popular gadgets at a discount.
Yeah, big deal if someone used it for like 6 months and then they're selling it for half price, right? That you can really, make out on the other side on that. All right, Andrea, thanks so much for joining us. Always appreciate it. Where can we get more of your tips?
Yeah, well, you can find my tips at my site, andreaworoch.com, and then you can learn more about the Chase mobile app at chase.com/mobile.
Andrea, I always love having you on here. You're always saving me some money, so thanks for that, and as our viewers as well.
Great to hear. Happy holidays.
Have a great holidays.
Your family.